Hello again, and in this video we are going to take a look at raycasting from our player. So what raycasting does is it creates basically an invisible line that acts like a collider. It can detect when this line or vector collides with any particular object inside of the scene. We can get feedback from the objects, like their names, what their tags are, what layer they're on. If they have a rigid body, we can tell the rigid body to do certain things. So it allows us to be able to, reach out and grab pretty much anything inside of our scene, with an invisible line with pinpoint accuracy. So what we're going to end up doing is building a raycast that fires from our main camera here, which, if you remember correctly, is being controlled by the FP look script. So I'm just going to save this scene real quick and duplicate the mouse pickup scene by hitting Control D. And I'm going to rename this duplicated scene mouse pickup 1. I'm going to rename this to Raycast. That way we can identify which scene is which here if you need to go back for a reference. So to start this off, we will start off by creating a script here. And before I do anything, let's open up that Raycast scene. So I'll double click it. Make sure you're in that Raycast scene. If you look at the top here, it'll show up here at the top. And what I'm going to do here is on our pickup object, I'm just going to remove that script for now. So remove component. Okay, so I've got that removed. And what we're going to do is we're going to check this for a raycast with this object. But to get started, let's select our scripts folder and create a script, and we'll call this raycast from player. And then we'll open that up. And the raycast works with the physics engine, but why don't we look at the Debug Ray first. Debugging will allow you to basically have a visual aid or visualize what the raycast is going to look like inside of your scene. So what we'll do here is we will create a debug inside of the update and draw ray. And in the debug.drawArray, we need to set it a couple of parameters here. So the first one is going to be where it starts. So the first one will be transform.position. This will be the position of the camera. And then the, actually we need this .transform.position. So let's do this .transform.position. And the next piece is going to be what direction we want the raycast to go in. So we'll say this .transform.forward. And remember that's a default vector in Unity, so it's facing the Z direction. The next is going to be what we want the distance of the raycast to be. So I'm going to do this as a hard-coded number for now. I'll just do 10. And the next thing we'll do is what we want the color of the raycast to be. So, oh, I'm sorry, we need to multiply this by the distance. So multiply by the distance to get the direction. Transform.forward times 10. And then we want whatever the color of the raycast to be. So for now, we'll do color.green. Alright, so if we save this and head back over to Unity, hit the play button, We want to make sure we're not in maximize on play. And I didn't put the script on, so we need to put the script on. That would help. So open up the player controller, grab the main camera, and we're going to drag and drop the raycast from player onto this object here. And there it is. So now, when we look around our scene, you should see that there's a gray line that goes out, a green line that goes out about 10 meters in our scene. And all this line is doing, it's not the actual raycast. This is debugging where the raycast is. So when we use this debug option for the raycast, it's visualizing what the raycast would be doing inside of our scene. Alright, so now let's program an actual raycast. Let's jump into our code again, and right below this raycast that we created, we're going to fire off a raycast when we push down on a button. Okay, so to start this off, I'm just going to create a condition here. You could do this multiple ways, but this is just a quick way to be able to get this via input. So we'll do input dot get key, and we're going to look for key code dot e, like that. So when we push down on the E key, we're going to fire a raycast. So to fire a raycast, what we'll do is we'll create an if condition here, and in this if condition, we're going to check. We're going to fire a raycast from this if condition and check to see if it returns true. What that means is it'll create the raycast, check for the collision, and if it collides with an object, that means it's true. And if it's true, we'll be able to feed back some messaging here. So we'll say physics.raycast, and physics.raycast needs a couple of parameters here, and it's going to be basically the identical parameters of what we have above here. So you can basically just copy this. So this dot transform up to the color, and paste this in here. So it's going to be this dot transform dot position, this dot transform dot forward. We're going to base this off of a distance. We also need a variable here for the raycast. So we'll say raycast raycast hit, and we'll call it hit. This is what's going to return that value. So inside of the condition here in our raycast, we'll do comma out hit, and then get rid of the distance here, and the last parameter here is the distance for the raycast, which is going to be 10. Alright, so what we can do now is check to see what objects we are interacting with. So I'll just do a quick debug log here. And we're going to look for hit dot collider dot tag, and I guess we could just add this with is the object our raycast hit. Alright, so I think this is everything that we need for what we're working with here. So if we save this and head back into Unity, should be able to hit the play button here. And if I click, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I gotta add the script here, don't I? Oh no, I have the script. So I'm over here clicking with the mouse and not pressing the E key. So let's try this again. And let's look at this thing. Press E and you'll see red box is the object. Oh, Raycast hit. Okay. So if I click on anything else, you'll see none of the other stuff is tagged, so we're not getting their tags. So you could also do things like hit dot collider dot game object dot name, right? So if I do hit dot collider dot game object dot name and save this and head back to Unity, we can see we can get some other information out of this thing. So if we hit play, press E, plain object is Ray outcast hit, pickup object is Ray outcast hit, trigger plate is Ray outcast hit. So anything I point at and I hit the E key, it's returning to me what object I'm interacting with. So Raycast become a really, really powerful way of producing interactivity within your games. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to tie this all together into a puzzle scene. So we'll check that out next.